So here we are in the upper right on Furious Resolve on the new map in the red. She is Nina playing Celestials, and the bottom left in the blue, it's Albino. Hello, Albino. Everyone, chat, say hi, Albino. And I legitimately know nothing. I know nothing about this matchup right now. There's been a lot of changes. Last patch was just scouts. Turtles all the way down, mass scouts all over the place. I don't think that's true anymore. I know I've seen some people complain about it in the Discord, but I struggle to see a world where scouts are that imba in this game, in any matchup, considering how much they've been nerfed. So I don't know. I don't know how this is gonna go. For now though, Nina go expanding vertically because this gives her the speed camp early on. And she doesn't technically know where her opponent is, but she sees where everything is coming from, so this kind of gives her a rough idea here. So for now, we're going to see the speed camps go down, Sovereign's Watch, plus this Morph Court. Nox! Oh! Yep. Got it. Now we're going to see a Creation Chamber right in there. But because, well, it just means the speed camp belongs to the Inferno player. Or it belongs to, belongs to the Vanguard player right now. And what do we have behind this? I don't know much of anything now. There should be, there's not enough power to drop another Sovereign's Watch at the moment, -1. So this Scout and this Lancer are going to be very annoying. This power bank's now up, and there is power, and there's the Sovereign's Watch. So the Lancer has to run away, and now Argent's going to get made. I mean, this is a very close spawns, though, and with the speed camp right here, 1 Argent versus 2 Lancers and a Scout with speed feels really hard. I don't know exactly how you're supposed to deal with this just yet, but again, Nina, this is Nina's build. She's going to teach us something. I'm assuming she's going to teach us something. And there's Starforge on the way, builds very quickly. And there's a Link node turning into a Strike node. So a Blast node's very good because against Infernals, because, well, they have a lot of HP. That is, or because there's not a lot of HP on Gaunts, right? They just evaporate Gaunts, they evaporate Fiends. But you want a Strike node because it's just a little bit different in this setup. So now chasing this Lancer away, but not enough energy for the moment, so Nina is not going to get the kill on there. I'm surprised she doesn't just go near the power bank and get this energy back, but there we go. Second power bank gonna ideally not go down, but now with the Vector out, I have lived through an era of Vectors, and it was very, very sad. But for now, the Scout's gonna fall down. Blinks on top, tries to body block on top of this. Remember, Vectors are light units. Lancers have bonus damage versus light, but even still, this Vector will look to chase this down. Blink's gonna be coming off cooldown reasonably soon. Delta jump. It's Blink. Gonna come off on cooldown very soon, but now the health food is there, so that's that. Just trying to chase this Lancer into a corner. This Lancer, though, I think this was the first one from earlier, has come back to put a little bit more pressure on. And what is gonna get made? So it's just about these Vectors early on. Seems to be that's the case. And Nina, is she teching up? Not at the moment, just building more prisms, and I guess this Lancer's gonna be able to get out because Nina wants to bring her army together. How was this new map, by the way? I think it's pretty good. Funnily enough, this game plays a lot like StarCraft. So turns out that because the game plays like a StarCraft, closer to a StarCraft or a Brood War than it does like a Warcraft, in my opinion. Who would have known that maps that are good in StarCraft are good in are good in Stormgate as well. They've done a lot of work to. I do appreciate in these earlier tests that they're messing around with a bunch of interesting ideas that definitely didn't work in StarCraft, but may work in other RTS games. And it's like, okay, let's try. If it works out, if it doesn't work out, we'll find. M Haxim saying, "Oh, hey guys, is this game a good game for a beginner wanting to learn an RTS?" I would say yes. I think so. First of all, you're not running into 14 years. You're not running into 14 years of accumulated meta that you have to learn. You have to learn about the game, certainly. You know, that's true of any game. But you're not running into 14 years of combined meta, where it's just like, oh god, I don't know about this build. I don't know the counter. It feels really rough. We're all learning together. Every new patch shakes the game up so very much. On top of that, as people are saying in chat, there are global hotkeys. So you go and there's a quick macro panel, so you don't have to go and the hotkey load is maybe not quite as strong. There's still a lot of complexity, still certainly a lot of power available, but again, not quite as obnoxious, or not quite as difficult to kind of be able to baseline play the game that you want to play. So for now, a lot of Lancers here are going to show up, and Double Sovereign's Watch says absolutely not. Now they're going to run into Speed Zone, and these vectors have to be very, very careful. So the idea here is, I guess you kind of wait. Now vectors do bonus damage versus light, not versus heavy, and with speed zones and kinetic redirect, these lancers are so fast that it doesn't really work out. But now, okay, well, they're on the map, which means Nina unlocked onto the other side. Says, okay, well, this is going to be eventually a dead lancer. Eventually a dead lancer, I say, but gets mass promoted up to tier 3, so it doesn't die very quickly whatsoever. And now we're gonna see a turret go up. Sentry post goes. It's gonna start to be a thing, but hey, it takes a while, and that means that a couple of these scouts are gonna go down. Meanwhile, lancers in the main base, they may force this collection array to raise on up. But for now, this damage, Nina's getting substantive damage. She is getting reasonable damage here now. Well, maybe gonna blink on the low ground. So again, my question is, what's the follow-up? She does force this collection array is forced to lift, which means Nina is effectively mining one base area, and she's just building. Okay, vector into scythe is the name of the game. We sure we're not watching versus infernals? Yeah, okay, it is a little bit different. But Nina again blinks down, takes the health camps, gonna heal these right back up, and now that speed camp, well, yeah, that was taken for a little bit. Now it's gonna go down. So these lancers are gonna show up here. More and more scythes are gonna start to arrive, and they do bonus damage to heavy. So even as these lancers are tanky boys, absolutely, and they're going to try to knock down some of these power banks. Sovereign's Watch is there, and eventually these scythes will force everything back. Argent as well again. Everything here does a reasonable amount of damage to these lancers, so they're fast. They do have kinetic redirect, but they're going to get forced right back home. And Nina, you know, again, losing these power banks, not super happy about it. Ooh, these okay, Exo's gonna fall. These man, these vectors, they went committed very far forward, so they're taking 50% more damage on the blink. As long as that purple aura is around them, they just take so much damage. But they do get the Exos down, and these two lancers will fall more sized on the way. You know, maybe we can say the time of the vectors is done for the time being. We're now at like 6 scythes, and well, scythes are technically light units, so it's not like Exos do a bunch of bonus damage against them. Now, I don't know how quickly you kill a flat cannon. It is a heavy, so bonus damage versus heavy is there. We don't have the upgrade though on the scythes, and not just get what's called retaliation matrix, which gives you plus 20 damage for or 10 stacks of plus 20 damage. Now, bye. Well, yeah, there we go. Hornets are technically very good against this, right? Bonus damage versus, not as good as they used to be, but bonus damage versus light scythes are light units, absolutely. But you need to have them in enough numbers. But yeah, I think we're done. Yeah, this is going to be the final best of 7 of the night. In fact, I didn't have plans to do this, but people said, hey, we're willing to do it. I said, great. Sure. Let's add a third one in. Add a little bit more fun to the day. And by the way, again, if you want to go and contribute to this tournament, if you want to be able to add to the prize pool a little bit more, so I can play these players just a little bit more, exclamation mark Maturino in chat. Gonna help you out quite a bit. Albino 4-0 in the MSRM in the first best of 5. Then we saw Knockstar 4-0 Nina in the second best of 5. And now we're in, or best of 7, excuse me. And now we're into our third one. So this is interesting, right? So if you take a look at a vector, the vectors are rather solid anti-air. They do, where'd they go? 12 damage versus light units. Hornets are in fact light units. They don't have a ton of HP. 210, but you know, again, scythes fire, or excuse me, vectors fire multiple shots. They actually, they can handle the Hornets very well. Hornets handled the scythes very well. And we're not seeing any Cabals is the other thing that I'm kind of thinking about here. The other thing to consider, they were very good last patch. Broken in last patch. They played this 40-second slow. It was kind of insane. But in this game, well, in this patch, the slow only lasts half as long. It's not quite as, it's only a 30% slow instead of a 50% slow. So they're not quite as strong. And Nina just doesn't seem to want to commit for them. I guess doesn't think they're very good right now. I don't know. There's a lot of things I'm learning. But now Retaliation Matrix is on the way, which is when scythes get really strong. The way that works, as we can mouse over it, actually see what it does. So for up to 10 stacks, when Pulse Shield, so when the unit takes damage and has some energy, what's it called? I forget how much it requires. But when you have the energy available and when you have when you take damage, Pulse Matrix gets turned on. That means that there are 10 seconds where you take very little damage. you take very little damage. In those 10 seconds, the 10 if you take up to 10. By the way, man, these Hornets, even though their bonus damage versus light has been heavily nerfed. Oh, Hornet, there we go, knocks one down. Even though the bonus damage to light has been nerfed, still goes in, snipes these prisms. But anyway, every individual piece of damage you take up to 10 means that the sides do plus 10 damage, plus 2 damage. So plus 20 damage every bit of damage they take resets the stacks, and they start to chunk in a significant way. Now, this is a little bit dicey trying to get on top. Purify is right there. There's enough energy to make sure that there's constant retaliation matrix, constant pulse shield. And a lot of these Hornets will continue to fall down. And now Nina took the middle. I didn't even realize. This V5 rocket launcher trying to go and take this medtech down. A third shot. Well, the healing is there, so. Medtech, bye-bye. That's going to be valuable. Now sides dive in once again. And this bonus damage to heavy means, yes. Those turrets, they die very quickly. Tries to dive on top. Once again, bubble shield's going to be there. But again, we're going to see this purify. It's stealing all the energy from the... God, I wish as an Infernal player I had this. It steals all the energy from the medtech, so they don't really heal. Gets on top of all these Hornets as well. And with that plus 20 bonus damage, that's not bonus damage versus heavy. That's just versus everything. And Nina has found her opening. She's found her timing. I feel like an aggressive Nano Swarm might have been useful there, but there's no energy. No energy available whatsoever. And it's all dead. All in the ground. Nina, you know, kind of brutalized by Snogstar just a little bit, but there is not enough anti-air anymore. Everything is dead. And this close by air position that Nina is able to take advantage of. Sides, they spawn, they run through the speed zone, run across the map. Immediate death, immediate disaster. And Albino in game 1 is gonna fall down. There we go. Nina, first map on the board. So now we're gonna move into game number 2 of this series. Nina opens. What'd she do? She opened vectors effectively. Argent into vector. Took advantage of the speed camp on vertical spawn. Built a lot of scythes, and Albino was not able to handle it. It was a reasonably back and forth game, but eventually you get that upgrade on the scythe. You get retaliation matrix, and then things just die. But it's also interesting. I'm seeing people in the chat, they're talking about Infernal Vanguard and the MSRM series. Yes, MSRM, the Harbinger upgrade is tier 2. Harbinger upgrade. So we're talking about, for those of you watching this on YouTube, about the viability of getting Seismic Slam, which is something you get out of the I totally blank on the name of the building at the moment. The Shadow Cleft. You get them on the Shadow Cleft. It's a long upgrade. It takes a little bit of time, but it's not that expensive, and you can get it at tier 2, and when you drop down, it massively increases the shroud that a Harbinger has, and also stuns everything around it for 2 seconds. So we're talking about kind of as a solution late game to these big bio balls of Vanguard, maybe against a bunch of like a more ground focused Celestial player as well, where you just kind of drop on top of them. And especially if you go and you have like a couple Flaming Imps, Flaming Imps turn on for 1 second, it's a 2-second stun. Seems really strong. But anyways, for now, Nina has opened up vectors once again on the low ground. Again, just to creep the speed camp out. You bonus damage versus light, firing 3 shots. 12 damage times 3 is 36 damage. That works out fairly nicely. And what do we have though on the other side? Just Lancers. Okay. We'll see. Also seeing people talk about late game avatars being really solid. They're expensive, but they're saying, you know, or late game Archangels, the new avatar is like actually kind of nutty. I don't know. Again, I haven't seen a single Archangel made in my games, but I'll buy it. You know, I'm willing. That's what's so cool, right? Especially with how the game is changing so quickly. 0.1.0 is a very different meta from 0.0.0, most certainly, but also 0.1 and 0.2 as we have those balance changes. I mean, this game, it's changed a ton. And, you know, I think maybe for like the 4 to 6 minute window is a little slow, but not that bad. And now, I mean, we're seeing plenty of interaction here. We're going to see, yeah, it just has to give has to give the health camp up for now. They got like, Nina got like half the money from it. And now, well, these Lancers have a decent amount of minus armor. They're at minus 25 armor, minus 50 armor, which means even if they're not light units, these vectors should be able to kite them out. But now they're going to heal up, so probably not worth doing. For now, though, 1 base from our Celestial player. I'm just building vectors. Just building vectors. By the way, so I know there's been a lot of complaints about performance. I got a 7800 X3D because again, I got this crazy deal on this desktop. I got a 7800 X3D, and we moved my old computer over to like a production PC because we're gonna be running some kind of really cool production stuff with my girlfriend once things get set up, with my partner once things get set up a little bit more. But anyway, having a 7800 X3D on Stormgate is just, oh, it's so good. There's like no lag. It's great. As we again see kiting away, Nina just dodges right versus left, and again you're trying to kite out against all these lancers. The damage is not really there, but yeah, maybe eventually they heal it back up half an HP per second, anyways. And you just promote the ones at the front, so they get a giga heal. It's significant. And by the way, kinetic redirect is actually done now. So Nina though tries to take advantage of the slime camps. This is when you want to take the fight, by the way. Minus 25 armor, something like that. What are we looking at? Minus 50 armor here as they continue to go down. Minus 75 armor, maybe. Yeah, minus 75 armor. That is a lot of effective HP loss. But Nina has to jump on top of it and see that this is an opportunity. And we can see how much damage. There we go. Blinks on top. Kills off the Lancer. Kills off the important Lancer, right? The hot. Oh, she got the upgrade. Okay. It's been fixed. I was looking. I'm like, wait a minute. What just happened? Did I roll back? No. She's got recall potential. So that means that you have additional movement speed. Certainly, we can see that would be very quick. And you can recall after delta jumping, which means that you blink forward, and then whatever damage you take, roll back to the HP you had before you blinked. I do think it's really interesting, people talking about performance as well, because I know some people have been saying, wow, game's a lot laggier. And some people are saying, wow, no, the game's actually performs a lot better. And then other people are like, well, the game performs the exact same. So it's interesting how hardware dependent it is, especially when like you talk to people who have very similar setups and very different experiences with how everything goes. So again, I think that's kind of surprising. But anyways, Lancers are trying to put pressure on all these vectors, but they're not going to get them, and Scythes are on the map now as well. So that's, there's the bug. That's pretty fun. We see oh god, that was a dead Hornet. I do think it's also kind of like the weird thing for me is I lose like 40 frames on if I go to DX12 versus DX11. I have a 4070 Super, which is weird. Like DX12 is supposed to be better on high-end cards, but there's like 0 FPS differential between low and between ultra. I mean, it's kind of wild. But anyways, these Lancers are going to try to put Baby into a corner here. They're going to try to get on top of these sides and just put them away. Again, sides, they are light units. Lancers do bonus damage to light. They do bonus, or the Lancers do bonus damage to light. Vectors do not do bonus don't do bonus damage to heavy, but just look at them kite around here. The damage is not there. Nina just playing with her food at this point, and you know, giving Nina a blink, not only just a blink, but a blink that you can go and just reset your HP. That feels a little nutty. So we'll see. For now, though, Natural's done, and Albino has done a very nice job. Albino has done a very, very nice job in keeping Nina back away, because this build that she's gone for is supposed to be pressure focused. These these vectors are supposed to be able to get on top of these worker lines, get a lot of damage done, you know, poke away, have map control, do all those things. Dude 215p saying the game is extremely CPU limited because they're running it on 1 core. Apparently, they're actually running it on 2 cores, so it is better than StarCraft. The Unreal stuff is being run on 1 core, and the Snowplay, like the RTS engine, is being run on a 2nd core. So there is that, as we see Purify go down. Oh wait, yeah, that's actually super cool. So Purify goes down, and that removes the overcharge. So that means these scouts are, or these, excuse me, these bobs are just, they get evaporated. And this is a lot of damage, and Albino may just be dead again. I don't really know. We have a retaliation matrix, not just yet, but this is strong. This is very, very good here. Something, it's like notionally, you know that's true, but I always forget that Purify is a buff remover as well, not just an energy thing. But arguably the most powerful idea, part of most powerful component of this idea is that it's able to remove debuffs on you and remove buffs from your opponent, so that overcharge just disappears. Actually really solid. So Nina, oh yeah, that's a mistake. Nina, what you do? Nina, what you do? Okay, well, blinks on top of a bunch of Lancers, loses a lot of these vectors right as the cooldown ended. I think she thought that she was good to go and instead just blinked right back home and just lost a lot of those vectors. That's not great. Yeah, it's very hard to apparently to multi-process RTS simulation, to be able to put I guess maybe theoretically it might be a little easier with rollback, but deterministic systems on multiple cores, right? Because you're running it in parallel, right? Just like makes life just a little bit more difficult. So for now, Hornets are going to show up and they're dead. There's that. And now these Lancers are untouchable and Retaliation Matrix is a thing. So 4 damage here. Now, granted, actually downside to killing off all the Hornets is you don't get Retaliation Matrix anymore. So the sides do damage, but not as much as they could possibly do damage. And, you know, there is that. There is that problem. But I think Albino's in a pretty rough spot. I don't know. It does not auto recall. There were a lot of bugs with it previously. I think chat's saying this. There were bugs with it on the previous like 0.1.0 or 0.0.x, but it has been fixed. So yeah, should work fine now. Yeah, but I think more what happened is Nina didn't realize the recall window was up, so like I didn't mean to do that one. That's not great. And that gives Albino a new lease on life. That's losing that many vectors. I felt like Nina was about to win the game. Can 40 Hornets beat 20 sides? 10 Hornets can beat 20 sides, most likely. Bonus now, if there's a bunch of vectors on the ground, that calculus is a little bit different. But yeah, if we're just talking about Hornets versus sides, Hornets are very good versus sides. Not as good as they used to be, but I mean, look at this fight. Look at this fight right here. They're going boom, boom, boom. Well, Retaliation Matrix. Retaliation Matrix. Before Retaliation Matrix, what I said was true. Maybe afterwards, maybe it's not. Maybe that's not true. He's on double hangar bay now, and man, we're missing here. The repair-matic needs to be between these two hangar bays because the Hornets are just locked to the hangar bay until it gets repaired back up. But you can go and the repair-matic actually goes to make things work a little bit easier. So repair-matics in these mineral lines, in these luminite lines would be so good. And this bullying that Nina's doing right now would not be possible. As it stands, there's no repair-matic, there's no anti-air turret, and that just means these sides can go to town, and they're just able to continually bully Albino. Meanwhile, Nina is just building more stuff. Now, veterancy on Hornets is nice, and the sides are starting to fall down. There are more. That's the problem. There are more here, and 6 sides versus 3 Hornets without any repair beneath, with Retaliation Matrix, is just not enough. Not anymore. And I think at this point, Albino, the game was closer. Certainly it was, but I think Albino, I mean, it's not a strike node just yet, so this will fall down. But I think Albino is in a really rough spot. He's only on 2 bases. Sovereign's Watch is a thing, and we don't have a tier 3 upgrade, so these Lancers will just die. They're going to try to get the second arc ship, but they will not get that. And more dead Lancers, more Sovereign's Watches, more dead Lancers once again. At this point, the game does feel kind of over. Yeah, I do think you put now there's a sentry post. You just put a bomb in the sentry post and the Hornets all live and you're fine. Yeah, but this time Albino is dead. Didn't quite have the solution, and Nina up 2-0. So now it's game number 3 here of this setup. And Nina's up to the 1 base vector into side that Albino is very upset by. Seems to be working an absolute treat. I think there are things you can do. I think you put a sentry post in each mineral line, each luminite line, excuse me. I think you do that. That can work out very nicely. As he actually overcharges the bobs to just mine a little. Yes, you build the barracks faster, but also you just mine a little bit faster. You don't mine faster. The luminite mine is, mining. But you go the time that goes between here to here, between the base and back and forth, it does speed your mining up just a little bit. So for now, It's going to be one base Lancer, I assume, once again. Starforge on the map. Proxy vectors here. We know the story. We've seen the story that Nina's been telling us for quite a while now. We know what's up. One base vector into Scythe seems very difficult for Vanguard players to handle at the moment. But again, I think there are things that Albino could have done if he had, when he went double Hangar Bay, which I think what you do eventually once you're on two bases. If he had gone and put a Repair-O-Matic between the two hangars, so when you return to hangar, everything gets healed up very quickly. I think that is very, very good. If he had gone and put a Hangar Bay, and actually with Hangar Bays were like effectively here and here, but it's right here, so it's in the Luminite patch as well, and then puts one in the natural, which is kind of the more exposed position. That means the Hornets don't die, they get repaired, and that bullying that Nina was able to do is not great. But okay, so he's gonna try Exos. Exos are light units, they get bullied by the Vector, and this one base Exo idea, I don't know how I feel about it. That doesn't feel very good to me. That doesn't feel very good to me at all. I don't know exactly what the idea here is, but he's got something. He's trying something, and I'm so happy that for most of the series we played today, most of the games we've played today, it's been, because they've all been 4-0s, it's been the same players doing the same builds, 4 games in a row, minor differences, but the same idea. 4 games in a row. And it's like, well, okay, this isn't working. This is still not working. This is still not working. So we'll see. I don't know. I do think, of course, that I'm very happy to see different ideas go on up. So Ascension Matrix on the way. We will eventually, of course, get our way into Scythes, which, you know, gets pretty strong. And Scythes against Exos are not as good, right? Exos, bonus damage versus heavy. Scythes are light units. Remember, Philip, Scythes are light units. I keep thinking they're heavy. I don't know why. But more importantly, they are not heavy units. So they can go and they don't take bonus damage from the Scythes. You get a bunch of them up and they can have some fun. So Exos are getting made. Nina, Albino being very careful with this. He's got himself 2 Exos. Gonna throw it on the way. Flat cannon. Now he's gonna go just overcharge, expand into the natural very, very quickly, and go from there. Next patch, they're gonna raise Exo HP. Please, no, I can't kill him anyways. Please don't kill the Exo HP. I can't kill him anyways. If Scythe is close to the Hornet, it wins 1v1. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, it's weird, right? So I want to say, like, 3 Hornets beat 3 Scythes. Well, I know that was true last patch. I actually don't know if that's true this patch. But anyway, look at this. So this is the adaptation from Albino. Sentry Post in the Luminite line. This flat cannon is a little bit less efficiently placed, but Sentry Post in the Luminite line. Second barracks on the way. He's just giving the map. He's like, look, I am going for this timing. And Nina's doing something totally different too. She's got a Saber here, right? Sabers, they do so much. I mean, again, Exos are not heavy, but they do 60 damage and 30 damage in the splash kind of, if the shot hits here, like in that direction, so perpendicular to the initial shot. And as Exos ball up, that's pretty dang strong. So this Nina is just, I love this. This is taking the idea, doing something just a little bit different. Now, it is a single Scythe. Excuse me, it is a single Saber. So this is not, well, I guess we're at 2 of them now. So this is 120 damage. Exos have 130 HP. So it's not one-shotting, but it is going to 2-shot him. And with the splash damage, it's going to maybe do just a little bit more. Actually, you had the vectors as well. I mean, this feels really hard. I'm not saying it's impossible, but this feels pretty dang hard. So we're gonna have to see what Albino's solution is. He does not have quick draw hustle yet. In fact, he's not even researching it. So these Exos, they do not have a power spike on the way. There's nothing like that. So he's just gonna get a Lancer to try to tank and dive right on top. The splits are really solid. Again, with these vectors, now they're gonna kite away and they burst this down. Lancer bonus damage versus heavy, and look at this. Yes, we did have one of the Saber fall down, but I mean, everything just gets evaporated here. And yeah, okay, sure. The Lancer stays alive. One of the Sabers does go down, but I'm assuming there's gonna be more where that came from. Yeah, second Saber getting made. Nina has built Okay, I'm an Inferno player. Certainly, I don't play Vanguard, but I mean, these early Saber builds have felt very strong, depending on the map, of course. There's some maps they're very good on, some maps they're not. But for now, Nina tries to go and get something done. Flat cannon there, splash damage, minus armor from the blink means that, it's a little hard. So, there is that. Of course, two Sabers, they almost one-shot. Two Sabers, if they target the same Exo, they don't quite one-shot. 10 HP remains, but with the splash damage, that should effectively one-shot. So, actually, you target the same unit, does the damage from one, it doesn't, I don't think it does splash to that first unit. So there is that, you know. But yeah, that's why you have these vectors on top, just to do a little bit more. And there's a third Saber. Now everything's getting one shot. Now all the Exos are getting one shot at 90 damage in a radius. Trethris, thank you so much for the tier 1, the Prime Gaming sub. Prime resub, 3 months. And now, man, 4 Sabers, 120 damage. What is that? 240 damage in a burst. And we're starting to hit the, even more than that. Command Post has 1500 HP. 90 times 4 is 360 damage. Again, against heavy, which command posts are heavy. This command post is gonna get nuked down. I mean, just look at this damage right here. But now it's a big concave. Trying to get set up. Quick Draw Hustle is done, and that's gonna have to be the value here. So moving on forward, and we're gonna see the burst go down. Lancers fall down. That's gonna be the first here. But now blinking on top of the Exos of the back line, blink backwards here, and they get all their HP back. This has to be the hold from Albino at this point, but oh man, these Sabers are so very exposed. They're still nuking down. They're still doing everything they have to do. All the X's are falling. All of these Lancers are falling, and more Vectors are here. Yes, we did see a bunch of the Sabers fall, and that does matter. They are expensive, but there's still a Saber here, and there are still these Vectors that are sitting forward. All these these Vectors that are going to continue to poke away, continue to prod, and continue to just make life difficult. That's the thing. So Nina building more. Third Star Forge on the way. She's building more Sabers. Not at the moment. Will eventually. What do we have? So we do have Kinetic Redirect now done as well, which means that if you can soak a little damage on these Lancers before they get started, they dash in, they do more damage. They get a little bit faster. Meanwhile, Nina on 3 collection arrays. She's over prismed this year. 4 is max mining. Adding that 5th prism doesn't do anything. Is the thing you got to worry about. But again, for now, just pressure. And now, granted, this is not like playing against a Terran or something like that. It's not like playing against a Terran that has to spend money to repair. You just put a repair turret on it. That poke is annoying. It doesn't really do much of anything. But now, okay, second Saber. This army from Albino is getting a little bit stronger. Scan gets dropped. So now Nina knows exactly what she's dealing with. Targets down the Lancers at the front. And again, job of these Sabers. One gets targeted down. Second one, Exos are going to get on top of these as well. Nina blinks onto the north side to try to zone them away. But this is exactly what Albino's been looking for. This pressure was terrifying. I'm not sure what she thinks the bug was. The units wouldn't blink. Seems like they blinked to me. I don't know. For now, though, Albino does break out of this position and immediately pulls a bunch of mobs, quick builds the third base. The contain is done, and here's the problem. All these units on the map like this, all these Star Forges on the map, that is scary. Now, there are still a couple Sabers here. There's a Scythe as well, so you do have to be very careful as Albino. Medtechs, though, are going to make this a lot easier. Okay, so apparently there is some sort of bug with blinking things. I don't know. Again, I haven't been playing Celestials, so Rusty Shack is telling me that there's some blink with like shift, or there's some bug with like shift queuing things. I don't know. Unfortunately, though, for Albino, not able to get on top of these Star Forges, shut down the mass Scythe idea. But third base done. 4th and 5th barracks on the way. Well, actually, more than that. We're going up to 8 racks from Albino. Here is more medtechs getting added in. Lancers getting added in. No high command just yet, so no survival protocol. Nothing like that, but we are getting System Shock. This was changed in the recent patch. It takes a while. It's a 2-minute upgrade, but it gives System Shock at tier 2. It gives you this ability to be extremely fast. Purge all debuffs on your army. For this case, System Shock is all about getting fast. I don't think there are debuffs that we're gonna see the Infernal, or not the Infernal, that we're gonna see the Celestial player have access to, really. It does allow you to get out of, the other big value, of course, it allows you to get out of Dark Prophecy very quickly if that's what you want to go for. But I can't think of any big debuffs that arrive. Anyways, now this is where it gets scary. So pushing into the Celestial player like is not easy, but System Shock runs away and you poke, you prod. Attacking into this natural, into Link, well, there we go. We're turning him into blast nodes. Into these blast nodes, probably not the easiest thing. But attacking on the right side, where there is just not a lot here, a lot more exposed, is something that is a good deal more interesting. So I think this collection rate will just fall down. Albino has to be careful. Doesn't want to get engaged on by all these creep, but the third base of Nina is dead. And that heavy pressure we saw from Nina in this game number 3, that looked like it might have killed Albino at one point. Now he's totally fine. He's absolutely rolling here. System Shock is done. Medtech Mastery done. High Command, not on the way just yet. I keep looking for it for Survival Protocol for, what's it called? The new upgrade. Mitigative Guard, -2 damage on every... It doesn't really matter as much in this matchup. There's not as much chip damage in this matchup compared to, say... versus Infernals, certainly. But it's something, you know, -2 damage over 10 Lancers is -20 damage into your army. That's not bad. Oh, don't take that shot. Okay, there we go. By the way, there is a, unless they removed it, there is a tier 3 upgrade that you can get for Creed. That means they can, when they kind of enter that flashing zone, once they get taken down and they, you know, they explode in a little bit, they actually can go and they can move like they used to be in the first iteration of Celestials, not 0.0.0, but before that. Now the big army here. Animancer on the field. Dark Prophecy, I don't know if it's available, but anyway, attack's going to show up right now. Blast Nodes so freaking strong, and this is not a fight that you can easily take. I mean, attacking into this position feels very hard, but there's just a lot of bio getting on top of things, kiting away as much as possible. Of course, with System Shock here, with everything else, we see Blast Nodes get taken down. Now Creep move forward, splitting away, and this feels like this feels a little bit difficult for Albino. Attacking into all of this AoE is how you throw the game. So he tries to get on top of the Blast Nodes. We're going to see there's Purifies go down, which means the Medtechs don't have the energy that they want. And this Kree on the back line, that's a decent amount of damage. But even still, these vectors will fall. And now, oh God, these Sabers are a little bit exposed. One runs away, but we're going to have to get more. And I don't think there's a Prophecy available. More Animancers are going to fall down. The re-engage. Now a second, there we go. Targeted down, bonus damage to heavy. Means these Sabers get evaporated here. And this setup, Nina, again, heavy pressure in the early game. Looks like he was going to win the game. I saw everyone complaining in Twitch chat about how broken everything is. You need a System Shock this, but there's not enough energy. So the Dark Prophecy does a lot of damage. But still, this is a 2-base Celestial, well, 3-base Celestial player soon. But currently 2-base Celestial player, the rally from Albino, very, very strong. And he's got 4 bases. Now again, I'm still waiting for this high command. Doesn't really seem to matter. And okay, what's this machine lab for? What else is he building? Is this just for Atlases? Oh, the smoke. The sneaky play, the unseen veil, trying to get on top of the army's just not quite there. I have got to say, so let's see, where's our, we got no high command on the way. Sentinels. Okay. Making your units that much faster, locking down these high power units, these well, you know, locking down the Sabers, locking down the Animancers so they just don't get their spells off. Very, very powerful idea. So that is where we see Albino going for. Scan gets dropped. Nina knows where the army is once again. He knows where the army is, but knowing where the army is only half the battle. You got to be able to fight it too. So Prophecies in the... Whoa! Those are massive, my goodness. And again, I'm surprised we're not seeing these big System Shocks to get away. Albino seems like a half a second slow. Half a second slow, a little too slow on that. But she has been able to reestablish her economy. North side here, prisms are getting made. She's got Ethereum Purifier as well. Arc Station done. No Arc Fortress, certainly not. but she doesn't really need it, right? The stuff you get from Arc Fortress are really good if you're an aggressive player. If you want to go and start to have Fate's End and just blow up buildings. If you want to go and add an Eon Gate, which was buffed significantly. We still haven't seen it used, but you want to have some really cool counterattack potential, Eon Gates, or, you know, go for something like that. But as it stands, for what Nina has to do, which is just defend, well, it's going to be fine. So now, System Shocked, a bunch of these Exos moving forward, but again, these prophecies are really strong, and you have to be so very, very careful. Now, this one Sentinel, I assume this was for, you know, getting some lockdowns. But we don't have hate spot. I was going to say it's just for the speed, but no hate spot dispersal aura is a thing. A bunch of the army on the right side kind of just pathed into a corner, a little bit awkward right there. Nina is taking some solid fights. And there's still no high command. But okay, there are the Atlases. Additional splash damage getting done. Bob's pulled into this position, and they're not going to be able to do anything. This is not an expo that Albino can probably find. Eventually, the blast nodes will kill this off. Yes, there's a sentry post on the way, but blast nodes, strike nodes. Yeah, there we go. Nope, this is not going to work. Pretty fun, though. This is not going to pop up. So Nina's going to have the upper left. Albino has the bottom right, and the fight in the middle is truly what's going to matter. I really keep expecting I mean, the burst damage was there. I keep expecting. There we go. There we go. Sky Spin retrofit on the way. So we're going to have haste spot dispersal. Oh, it's done. Never mind. Haste spot dispersal is done. I always forget. Yeah, so that's what is that? That is evacs are 25% faster. Okay, so now that means that we're going to have these big Atlas drops, as well as the complexity of these armies continues to grow. Now, I don't know, by the way, that this concave, very, very hard to fight into. I don't know that having these evacs matters as much in this game, because the sizes can just target them down. Again, bonus damage to heavy, evacs are heavy units. But if you just get like a couple big Atlas shots, there's a couple big Atlas shots that can work out pretty nicely. Nina, by the way, gotten herself up to 4 bases. You know, she's the collection array is not done yet, but she's gotten herself up to 4 bases. She has actually, excuse me, 5 bases here. She has this collection array taken once again. She has all of these strike nodes and blast nodes, so that's not something that Albino can break very easily, but he's just going to sprint north side and say, okay, well, this is not a base you're allowed to find, and, well, there's no speed, no Celestial Hyperdrive on the Arc Station. You need that. You need tier 3 to get that one, so Arc Station will have to run. And Nina, I said it's going to be hard for Albino to go to counterattack this, and it technically is, but his entire army's there. Even with, God, these blast nodes, it's so strong. It's doing so much damage. Oh my goodness. But it doesn't. At the end of the day, there's way too much here. That base will fall down. Nina, though, counterattack on the other side. What can she find? I think she's going to take down this base. I think she might be able to take down the bottom right as well, and kind of reset both of us to 3 bases, which, you know, theoretically, maybe matters a little bit more. I don't know. I mean, Nina's been mining this 3rd base for not as long, so to last a little bit longer, but excuse me. But Nina is not not gonna go down. But Nina is not really able to go. As man, these nanoswarms are really nice. Just a little bit extra damage. Nina's not really able to go and get on top of this base. So Albino gets 2, Nina gets 1. Is the story of things. So Albino's gonna try to take this north side base now. And remember, because prisms can mine from Luminite mines, Nina's getting like half mining from this northwestern base. There is that, but I mean, fighting him instead of his Albino's. Oh, he's gonna pull the trigger right now. Now shots go down, Atlases. Well, there's a bubble. Dark Prophecies are so very good. Purify on top of everything as well. Is this enough? Prophecies are on every single thing. If this fight's not a fight that Nina's gonna win, I don't know what is. But the concave is, and yeah, you're an energy regen as well. This is a beautiful fight for Nina, and this just does not work out for Albino whatsoever. Prophecies on everything. Medtech's just in one clump. They're not healing the entire part of that army. Yeah, there are some nanoswarms. There are. But they're getting healed up. That's fine. It's okay. There's an energy regen. Actually, I'm not totally sure how they're healing. Oh, no. Sabers have stealth healing. There we go. But the Atlases were way too far forward. One got targeted down immediately. And yeah, you could bubble the second, but didn't get enough damage. And now we're in this position where, I mean, those Atlas shots are really nice. And Albino is dead. He taps out of this game. What a game number 3, but Nina goes up 3-0. So now it's Isle of Dread, map number 4. Nina's up 3 games to 0. We've seen a couple games of Vectors into Size that looked very good, and then we saw this Vector into Saber idea that almost broke Albino. He was able to break out, take everything down. And you're like, okay, man, he's got this. He's got the eco lead. He's got everything else. And he's just really struggling, and then things get weird anyways. He's able to go and you know, I think really what it is, part of that, the fight was really bad. So that fight that Albino took, couple issues with it. For issue number 1, all of his med techs were clumped up on one side of his army, which meant they weren't healing the entire army. They weren't, say, system shocking army to get out of prophecies. All of those things were just not really there. You don't have access to that, but which meant when all the med techs died, suddenly a lot of the longevity of this army goes down. No nanoswarms either. You know, again, they were just zoned out. They were not mixed in the army. Made life rather difficult. That was problem number 1. Problem number 2, the Atlases were way too far forward, so one died immediately. Nice job there, Nina, getting the healing fruit so the dog can go regen and be even more annoying. But died immediately. Second one was bubbled, but died fairly quickly after that one anyways. And then you're kind of fighting. It is a surround, but you're fighting into like 2 different chokes, and there were enough animats that there was way too many dark prophecies. So just all that together, life was kind of complicated. It was really the worst. Given the lead that Albino had, it was probably the worst possible setup that Albino could have gone for. And now he's going for he went for a command post first in this game. Command post into a barrack, so a little bit less map pressure, but certainly a much faster eco game. But Nina, not to be outdone, 3rd collection array on the map, taking this double Therian base in a way that, you know, really only Celestials can. It's very hard for the other 2 factions to get it this early. It's so exposed, but the static defense that you can get as a Celestial player that's very good. It's very, very, very good. I did, by the way, Lukesh saying is a Parting a Star will Parting win versus Infernal. I think Parting wins versus anyone for the most part. But I asked him, I said, hey, you want to play in this thing today? And he said, well, I've been on vacation, so I haven't had a chance to go play the new patch yet. Fair enough. I'd rather have some players that have had a chance to, you know, cook it, to just wallow in the filth for a couple of days and figure out how exactly they want to play this. And then develop things for us, right? Then just go and like, I read the patch notes. I've seen how some people have played. So we'll get Parting in for future events. That is absolutely true. Benefits, by the way, of being on Parting's team is I can go and like, hey, Parting, you're on Aftermath. Give me some content. And it works out fairly well. So anyways, you played, so Snoxter says he played a best of 7 versus Parting like 2 weeks ago, and it went 3-4. Wins the rematch. When I can organize it, I don't know. Oh, look at this though, Nina. Cheeky go Russian Kree here in this game. Where's our Guardian Nexus? There we go. Roll up just about done. And this is the prime chamber. So what do we have? We have 2. Yeah, we got 2. We have 2 creation chambers on the map. So Kree coming out 2 by 2. And this is the build just designed to tilt Albino out of this game. I love this. I hate this. He's going double hedgehog, by the way, which can be fairly strong. You kite away, but the problem you're running into is like, I don't know when she goes with this. Maybe like 7 Kree. Diving into the Luminite line is just, yep, there we go. Not even into the natural, just straight into the main base. Oh, you cheeky. Nina, as a fan of video of this stuff, I love it. As, you know, someone who feels bad for Albino right now, who's on my team, I really hate it. But, oh, so cheeky. Now, granted, hedgehogs are very good against this because they can kind of kite away. But the goal here is to force them into a corner, is to make it so the hedgehogs have nowhere to run and they just die. And that's exactly what's happened right now. Nowhere for them to run here. Yes, there's promotions, but Albino is dead. Oh, Nina. Oh, you had to do it to him like that. That's going to be a 4-0. Of course, if you like this and you want more stuff like this, we're going to be running 2 or 3 best of 7s every Sunday, depending on how the funding can work out. So make sure to go sub to me, or go to follow me on Twitch, sub to me on YouTube. Go join my Discord. Let me know what matchups you want, as we're going to have these Stormgate Showdown, or these Stormgate Sundays. These Fight Club type things, these money matches going every Sunday. Let me know who you want, and I'll see you there.